Well, hello, folks. Hopefully everybody's doing well. I had a great spring break. I am completely caught up with my grading, so you should be able to look through there. A couple of quick updates on the grading and feedback. Then I'm going to talk about the assignment that's due on the 3rd, and then where we're going from there for the rest of this week and what you need to accomplish so this works out for everyone. First, feedback and grades and whatnot. Several of you should be getting messages from me, either through your inbox or through the comments that I'm making on your posts, your papers, and you should be getting notifications. Hopefully you have that turned on, so you're getting notifications when I am commenting or when the comment happens on your assignment. I hope that you are paying attention to those, because many of you are just doing great. You're just crushing it, just cruising through this, no problem at all. Some of you are doing really well, but not getting all the assignments in. We need to try to get those assignments in. It's hard to recover from a 0. But several of you are still engaging in the use of AI to help either clean up your writing or whatnot. I've sent multiple messages, so this is another way for me to say, I'm asking for communication from you. I'm open to communication and conversation, but I'm not getting a lot back. It's kind of shocking to me in a sense, but you got somebody who's willing to work with you and help you to become better writers, not negating the use of the potential use of these tools eventually, but right now I need to have your voices. So anyway, you're welcome to comment back to me or to communicate with me, and I'm happy to work with you or communicate with you. But no, these papers should be your take on these works. Your posts should be your take on it. Now, if you... Yeah, I guess that I want to hear and see what it is that you know, assuming that you have also read through the materials leading up to the post that have set you up with kind of looking at things. So if you're just waiting for the assignment, jumping on the assignment without doing the work ahead of that, then you're at a disadvantage as well. Okay, so talking about communication, you know that I have this pulled up here. The short analysis 2, draft, and review are due on the 3rd. It shows right here, due April 3rd. So that is Wednesday. So you should have this paper going by now, hopefully. I want to cover a couple of things before you move to your sending this in. And then this is a draft. So hopefully this isn't your first draft. Hopefully you're drafting this and you're submitting something that you feel comfortable with, because the further along you are on this paper for people to read it, including myself, and give you feedback, the more valuable the feedback is. If you give a rough draft that's really rough, and I give you feedback, that's going to get you to a certain level, but then there needs to be more feedback after that. So if your assumption is to throw together a first draft, get the feedback, fix what he says, and then submit it and I get an A, that doesn't work. If your idea is, let me put something together that really seems valid, and I can't express how much the papers that I'm reading that are really successful on the short analysis, the first one, you're going to need 2, 3, even into 4 pages of double-spaced 12-point font, 1-inch margin, MLA formatted text to really do this well. A page or a page and a half, that is, I would call a super short analysis. I'm not looking for super short. You need to explain yourself and explain where you're coming from, and I'll get to that in just a minute. Okay, so hopefully by Wednesday, you've submitted a paper, you've gotten your responses, and I know we're coming out of spring break, but hopefully this draft that you submit is not your initial draft, but a draft that you're pretty comfortable with. It's gone through maybe a couple, 2 or 3 iterations before being submitted, and you're feeling good about that. All right, so with that being said, here's the assignment for Wednesday. Read through the short analysis SAE 2 guidelines. We're going to go through that in a second. Write your draft. We'll talk about that. Post your draft, and then review. Do one peer draft. Review of a peer draft. Include a response to the draft that answers each of the questions below. And I would say, could you do this in a bulleted or a numbered response? For sure. Genuine, thoughtful, authentic commentary is what we're looking for. Oh, the dogs just hurt somebody. So, do I understand the topic and the author's stance? Restate in your own words. Do I understand the importance of who, how, why of the topic? I'm going to get with that in just a minute. How is the author supporting their opinion throughout the essay? That's the writer, you, and what information is used to support. Are you using enough language from the text? Is it enough? What could be added further? This is a place I kind of talk about gaps. Like, are there any gaps? Like, okay, you're discussing how they're utilizing imagery, or how they're using dialogue, or how they're utilizing colors, or whatever it is, but you're really not explaining why that's important. So there might be a gap there. So talk about those. Do I think that the author's writing is clear? Will the people understand it? This is an interesting space because oftentimes when we write, especially as young writers or new writers, I have no idea how young anybody is, but new writers or novice writers oftentimes tend to assume the reader gets what they're saying just by what is in their own head. Well, I understand this, so clearly somebody else is going to understand this. So as you're reading somebody else's work, you might look for, oh, you know what, they're trying to help me, or they're trying to explain this, but I'm not really getting it. So explain like what you might not understand about something. And then project suggestions. So think about, maybe you read the poem, or you did the poem as well, or one of the poems or both of the poems that they're writing about, and you think, hold on, did you think about this aspect of it? Did you think about this part of it? Give them some feedback that way also. Okay. So there's a couple people who have submitted. So let's go to it. Let's go to the assignment that you should be writing about, and we'll talk about that. I've already talked about this, but I want to go through it again. So the purpose to show that you base your opinion on this close reading of the text can be cited and the sourced correctly. Okay. Talk about the skills here. Hopefully today is Sunday, the 31st of March. Hopefully by now you've chosen your texts. Choose 2 of the poems assigned for reading in modules 7 through 9. So you have already read the poems. These should not be new poems to any of us. So we have multiple poems we've read over the past couple of weeks. So choose 2 of those. Reread the chosen poems to ensure that you have solid understanding of the elements used. Now, this can be something, you might choose poems that you're like, I really love these poems and I just thought they were fantastic. Or you might think, I hated this poem and I really want to write about why I hated this poem, or why I don't think this poem deserves the recognition it gets, or I don't understand why it was even in this. You're welcome to write about something you don't like, or you could have one that you liked and one that you didn't like. 2 of each, it doesn't matter to me. But you're choosing 2 of these poems. I would choose ones that I'm comfortable with. If you're writing, or you're thinking as you were doing your initial responses to these, like, I don't know what the hell this poet's talking about, I probably wouldn't use that poem. I'm going to use something that I'm comfortable with. You should not be utilizing any external information on analysis here. You shouldn't be going to Wikipedia. You shouldn't be going to poetry.com. You shouldn't be going to anywhere. You want to go into your textbook? Okay. You want to go into the videos or the blackboards that were presented earlier? That's fine. You want to go into the language or the definitions or the literary elements and the tools and explanations there, for sure. If you want to go in and look at other people's interpretations from the in the posts, you're welcome to do that. But don't go into Google what are the literary elements utilized in Shakespeare's Sonnet 18. No, that's not what you should be doing. This should be what you think about this. So after you've chosen those, you've reread them, you're going to make a claim. Determine the elements that you will use as a basis for your comparison of the two poems. And the thesis should outline this. So let's look at this really quickly. Here's a good example. The poems we've not read, in this course at least. Mother to son and Do Not Go Gentle Into That Good Night share a common theme, as both use conversations between parents and children to motivate the target audience through a difficult time in life. All right. Great thesis statement. So with Mother to Son and Do Not Go Gentle Into That Good Night, with this particular thesis, what are they going to be writing about? They're going to be writing about the common theme, the use of conversations between parents and children. They're going to write about how one does it, then how the other does it. What children, what parent. Is it a father? Is it a mother? Is it a son? Is it a daughter? Do we know? Do we not know? Is it intentionally ambiguous? So they're writing about what these conversations look like. They're going to be writing about the tone, about the conversation. Are they angry? Are they sad? Are they upset? Are they misguided? What is it? What is the tone? How has the author created this tone between the parents and children, or children to parents, to motivate the target audience through a difficult time in life? Who's the target audience? To whom are they writing this? Who's this poem for? And what difficult times in life are they talking about? Is it a breakup? Is it a death? Is it a the loss of a pet? The loss of age? What is it that is this difficult time? And how have they developed this understanding of it? Have they used it through the use of seasons, or have they used it through time? Have they, what is it that they're doing? How have they organized the poem? How have they framed the poem? Are they speaking directly to the person, or is it like a soliloquy type of tool that the parent isn't even there? They're speaking aloud, or not even aloud, internally. There's a lot to take on in this. You can't do that in a page. You can't effectively do that in a page. And for every claim you utilize, you have to use support from the text. So with that being said, we create the essay. Do not do any outside research on the story. Instead, look at the story closely and the elements used within. This is a point where I'm going to put a little asterisk. I'm not sure how to do that with my hands, but please listen to what I'm telling you right now. We are on module 10 here. This is module 10. So we are 3/4 of the way through this semester. We have April left. We have one major paper coming up. We have this minor paper here. You should not engage in the use of AI for this paper. I have been very tolerant and very understanding and very open to conversations. But this will go to Turnitin. I will read it. I'm finding the more that I'm reading these and the more that I'm engaging with AI usage, it's pretty easy to pick up. So please don't do that. I want to hear your voices. I want to hear what you have to say. And so does the world. And it's going to be fine and much more authentic. But as this paper comes to fruition, especially during the drafting, if I start reading the draft, I'm like, hold on, this is AI generated. I'm just going to send you a message. This won't work. So do the work now, and it's going to be just fine. So let's move on. Write an essay in which you thoroughly explain your claim. So if this is your claim up here, you are thoroughly explaining to it. I just went over a bunch of different ways that you could take that on, or you should take that on. Use cited material, quotes, paraphrase, and or summaries. Absolutely quotes, absolutely paraphrase. Not heavy on the summary, though. From the story, in the essay works cited page to claim to support your claim, should be poem there. Consider what makes you think this claim is true. Reference sections, details. Use MLA formatting. Consider reading through sample essays in a writer's reference section. Absolutely a great idea. Get the sense of what an academic voice might look like. So please state your claim, back up your claim, organize your paper well. Think about how you're organizing it. You're welcome to use headings. You're welcome to use, please use paragraph breaks. A couple of you were struggling with that before. MLA formatting, you should have that situated. Upload your file to the correct Dropbox for submission. That will be the following week. So revising and getting that ready, not this week, but next week. I will be looking through these Wednesday, these drafts, and trying to get through them all the way by Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday. So by next weekend, I should have everybody's read through and comments on those. So keep that in mind. And then when I'm done with grading, and the rubric is right here, so please make sure you've looked over that. And with these, I will break it down with the rubric with the points there. So please, 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 as you are doing this, the things I want to reiterate are, it's so tempting with this computer to, what does this mean? Now if you need to look up a word or something like that, for sure, but don't look at what do they mean to you? And then also, I've mentioned on several people's posts, think about what they might look to other people. Bring your, if a couple of people read this in the last section, the sonnet. It was this angry poem, this assuming young woman writes to her boyfriend who is not really being the best boyfriend. So what if you're that kind of a boyfriend, or you're the boyfriend reading this? Hold on, are you going to think about it the same way that a person who might be spurned or might be neglected might read it? So think about different perspectives and how other people might read the poem too, as you're taking into consideration your analysis, because rarely do I find that one analysis is the only analysis. And an easy solution for breaking down poems is saying, this is really obvious, and there's nothing subjective about this. There's nothing figurative about this. It's poetry. It is the definition of figurative. It's condensed language. It's creating an image, a feeling. Haiku is one of the most condensed types of poetry, and it might seem obvious, but it's so, look for layers of depth and layers of understanding in this. So in the end, hopefully you've watched this, and hopefully you're to this point. This paper cannot be effective in under 2 pages, and I would say probably closer to 3 pages, and even into the 4th would be what I would consider to be a minimum for a paper such as this. So keep that in mind. You must use support, and you must document it and cite it correctly. You must use a works cited page. One of the reasons we're doing these papers is for you to play with and work with MLA formatting and the formatting of academia. So, not macadamia, of academia. So you're utilizing MLA formatting, you have a works cited page, you have your heading with your last name and your page numbers, you have the correct heading that has your name, my name, the course, and the date you submit. You have a title that reflects your paper. So please take care of those things. And the more you do that for your draft, the easier the revision is. The more you do this, what I'm suggesting to you for your draft, the easier your revision is, and the better that it is. So hopefully this helps you. I'll be checking my email and my messages on a daily basis in the evening time. If you have a question, a comment, you need some help with something, please send me your questions. I'm happy to address them. And I think that's it. So good luck on the drafts. I look forward to reading them. Look for the comments. And at the end of the week, I will be doing something for the next phase, which is this theme paper that we're doing with an annotated works cited page, which I'll talk about as well. All right. Ask the questions. Do a great job. Enjoy the writing. Enjoy the poetry. And I look forward to reading what you have to say. All right. See ya.